I think she might be all up in her head on this whole thing. You know how sometimes you can get something stuck in your head and it becomes such a big issue because you think people are going to judge. But the truth of the matter is, when you talk to people from the outside looking in, it's really not that big a deal.
Oh, you always build stuff up bigger in your head.
Yeah, right? Like, what's the worst that can happen here? She's 30 years old and she's a widow. And she's kind of withholding that information with a dude that she's just started to see. And she's not sure when she should be real with this new guy about it. Says, hey, Bert Show, I know you often give advice about how soon you should divulge certain information in a new relationship. Like, when do I mention my divorce or that I have kids? Well, I could use similar advice. I think we talked about this some months ago also where she was a virgin. She's like, when do I tell him this?
Yeah, and I had a buddy who had a vasectomy. Doesn't want kids, doesn't have kids. And I'm like, when you're dating somebody, like, when do you disclose, hey, FYI, I had a vasectomy?
I think that's the first sentence on the date.
Is it?
Hey, nice to meet you. You look just like your profile picture. Just want to let you know I have a vasectomy.
Maybe he has that in his bio on Tinder. I don't know.
She asks, when do I tell someone that I'm a 30-year-old widow? Feels like very personal information to share with someone I barely know. I agree. But it also feels like I'm hiding my entire life until I do. I was with my spouse since I was 18. I hardly even have stories about my life that don't involve them. The why are you single? Or tell me about your last relationship questions are bound to come up early, and I feel so overwhelmed dropping my story on someone new. But if I dodge the question or accidentally say we, it seems like I'm hiding something. I don't even know if I'm ready to date yet. Well, that's a key right there. But recently, it seems like my DMs are blowing up, and I'm trying to be open-minded about it. My biggest point of stress about getting back out there is, how do I approach this topic and when? My husband passed 8 months ago, but he had a major injury 13 months before that, which drastically altered his personality and who he was. So in some ways, I've been grieving for nearly 2 years, and in other ways, it's all still fresh. I always agree with your advice, especially Kristen. We could be soul sisters, and I'm hoping that hearing you guys all discuss my life will provide me with some clarity. Thanks, Em. If you guys have any experience in this area, hit us up. 1-855-BERT Show. If I'm dating somebody and they hit me with that, it's not a big deal.
I'm not worried about what the other person thinks, in all sincerity. I'm worried about her and what she's comfortable sharing. So if this is my friend, I would be like, there's nothing shameful about being a widow. There's nothing that you I feel like nothing you have to worry about in disclosing that information when it comes to the other person. At the end of the day, are you comfortable telling somebody that? If you are, because, I don't want to say it's not all of who you are, but it's a big part of who you are right now. And it's, it's your experience. So share it.
You agree?
I do. I feel like this is one of those things where you don't have to force it. Like if he asked, I would just bring it. If it just came up in conversation, I would just share it. I wouldn't go out of my way to, but I definitely wouldn't hide it.
And if somebody goes like, so why are you single? Blah, blah, blah. People ask those questions, be like, well, my husband passed away 8 months ago.
Ugh. That hits. It really does. Yeah. I know. But I mean, I'm hoping people don't say, why are you single? That would hurt my feelings. I don't know why.
Well, they made it as a compliment.
When people talk about, you end up talking about your exes, like, at some point on the date. So if he was like, yeah, was your ex an a-hole? We'd be like, no, he died. Like, see, it's like no matter what way, it kind of like slices through the room. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, what is she to do? And do you still call him your ex? I mean, I know he's...
No, I would say my husband.
My husband.
Yeah.
Because you didn't break up. Yeah, I have so many questions.
Yeah, I knew a guy out back home in California that lost his wife, and he was out dating again within like 5 or 6 months. I mean, I think everybody just kind of goes through this process quickly. I think if I'm sitting down with somebody and they tell me that, it's not a red flag for sure, but it's like information I need to know.
No, for me, if I'm sitting down with a man and I have no issue whatsoever with you doing what you need to, like, however you grieve, whatever your process says, like, by all means, you do it. But if I sit down with somebody who, is back out in the dating world and their significant other passed away like a couple months ago, I'm going to have to bow out of that.
Yeah.
Just because having gone through grief, I'm going to be like, out of respect, I'm just going to like let you do your thing. But, you do you and you live your life how you want to. I'm going to live my life how I want to. And I think I'm gonna allow you to have some more time.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like she should want that because if this is going to be a part of who she is, like she's grieving and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So the person that she begins to date should know that. And if that's something that they can't handle, she should want to know earlier than sooner.
Yeah.
It would put me in a different mindset. Like if we're dating, then I start to hear weird things in my house. I'm automatically assuming I'm being haunted.
The widow's ghost.
Yeah.
Haunting you. You're like, now I gotta go. I was okay with this.
Man, that shower didn't drip before. Now I started dating her, and all of a sudden it drips. He's not gone. We got problems.
You can't defeat a ghost.
No.
Did your dead husband like iced coffee? Because I had more in here yesterday. That's all I'm saying.
The Bert Show.